Narcissists are far more complex and alarming than the popularized stereotypes often depict. We might think of narcissists as simply self-obsessed, attention-seeking, or controlling, but these descriptions barely scratch the surface of what makes them truly dangerous. A narcissist doesn't just love attention. They need it, crave it, and will do almost anything to secure it, often at the expense of others. Their behavior isn't simply annoying. It can actually be manipulative, destructive, and even abusive. But what makes them genuinely frightening is the calculated way they operate to maintain control and power over others, all while hiding behind an elaborate facade of charm or confidence. At the core, narcissists possess a need for validation that runs far deeper than that of most people. Their self-worth is so fragile that they become almost entirely dependent on others to boost their ego and confirm their sense of superiority. This need makes them relentless in securing admiration, praise, and acknowledgement from everyone around them. But they often hide this neediness behind what appears to be confidence, sometimes fooling people into thinking they're secure or even inspiring. This misdirection is intentional. Narcissists create a persona that is difficult to question, which allows them to manipulate people and situations without appearing overtly malicious. One reason narcissists are more frightening than many people realize is their skill in blending into social circles, workplaces, or even intimate relationships, often appearing as outgoing, generous, or charismatic. This ability to mask their true nature allows them to deceive even the most perceptive individuals. And by the time people begin to sense that something is amiss, the narcissist has often already established a psychological hold over them. This skill to manipulate perceptions isn't a coincidence. Narcissists are usually highly intelligent and observant, noticing exactly what others need and mirroring it back to them to draw them in. But this false connection they create is solely about control, leaving people in relationships with them feeling drained, confused, and sometimes questioning their own reality. Many victims of narcissistic abuse describe it as a form of emotional vampirism. This analogy is fitting, as narcissists drain others of their energy, affection, and self-confidence over time. Initially, narcissists shower their partners, friends, or co-workers with attention, kindness, and even love bombing. But as soon as they sense they've hooked someone, their behavior shifts drastically. The warmth fades, replaced by subtle or overt criticism, manipulation, or even cold withdrawal. The intention is to keep people in a constant state of self-doubt, making them dependent on the narcissist's approval to feel validated or worthy. Narcissists are frightening because they can lure people into these patterns without ever raising suspicion, all while their victims begin to lose sight of their own identities. This leads to another chilling aspect. Narcissists often engage in a tactic called gaslighting, a form of manipulation where they make their victims question their own reality. Through repeated lies, contradictions, and distortions of facts, narcissists create an environment in which their victims feel disoriented and unsure of what is true. Over time, gaslighting can have devastating psychological effects, leading people to lose trust in their perceptions and even in themselves. Victims often describe feeling as though they are losing their minds, while the narcissist maintains an appearance of calm and control, which makes the victim's confusion appear irrational or even unstable. Gaslighting is particularly frightening because it's so subtle and insidious that it's hard to identify until its effects are deeply rooted, leaving the victim emotionally debilitated. Another terrifying reality about narcissists is that they tend to avoid accountability at all costs. Narcissists will manipulate narratives, shift blame, and project their faults onto others to maintain their image. They rarely, if ever, apologize sincerely or acknowledge the harm they cause. This lack of empathy and accountability makes them virtually immune to guilt or remorse, which means they often repeat harmful behaviors without hesitation. The lack of empathy and concern for the impact of their actions allows them to manipulate people without feeling any emotional consequence. They truly believe that their needs and desires are paramount, and they'll go to great lengths to justify their actions, regardless of who gets hurt in the process. What makes narcissists even more alarming is their ability to target and exploit those who are empathetic, trusting, and kind-hearted. Narcissists are drawn to people with high levels of empathy and compassion because these qualities make them easier to manipulate. Empathetic individuals are often willing to give narcissists the benefit of the doubt, even after experiencing hurtful or manipulative behavior. Narcissists rely on this willingness to forgive, using it to justify their actions and keep their victims entangled. This dynamic is not accidental. Narcissists know exactly who to target and are skilled at picking individuals who are less likely to call out their behavior or set boundaries. This exploitation of goodness and kindness in others is one of the most sinister aspects of narcissistic behavior. In a workplace, narcissists can be particularly toxic. They might undermine colleagues, take credit for others' work, and use charm or deceit to manipulate those in power. Narcissistic bosses can create toxic environments where employees feel unappreciated, belittled, or even bullied. In a professional setting, narcissist power games and control tactics can lead to high levels of stress, anxiety, and even burnout among their coworkers. Yet, because they're often adept at managing perceptions, they may continue to rise in ranks, while those they manipulate are left to deal with the emotional toll. So, why are narcissists more frightening than many people think? It's because they can inflict profound emotional and psychological damage without overt violence, using charm and intelligence to manipulate their victims in ways that are hard to detect. Their tactics are subtle yet incredibly effective, leaving their victims with long-lasting effects, including diminished self-esteem, trust issues, and emotional trauma. Because they lack empathy and accountability, they're unlikely to change, making them a constant risk to those who come into contact with them. Their actions can lead to intense psychological distress, and they leave a trail of hurt that can take years for their victims to heal from. Thank you for joining us in exploring this complex topic. Remember, understanding narcissistic behavior is the first step to protecting yourself and those you care about from its effects. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to keep up with all our insightful discussions. Until next time, stay safe and take care of yourselves.